Well, welcome to the Trillium Activation, Clearings, and Positive Teachings through Tom Kenyon's Hathor Messages. Basically, I received an email from Tom Kenyon because I'm in his subscribe list on October 18th, 2018 on the Hathor's latest message on the activation of the Trilliums. And I'm going to explain who the Hathors are in just a minute. What they said was, in this message, we, the Hathors, wish to share with you a simple but highly effective method for accessing the quantum potentials of your body. This technique allows you to draw upon life-enhancing subtle energies from other dimensions of consciousness. And me, Catherine, was given the message that it was important not only to share Tom and the Hathor's message, but also to clear any unconscious humanity programs that could exist that may block you from easily accessing the trilliums. As we all know, this planet is coded for incoherent negative emotions. And the negative incoherent emotions make it difficult for your trilliums to be able to access the subtle energies and life-sustaining sustenances from other universes. And after reading the Hathor's messages through Tom, I came to understand why it's been so important to create and deliver the Ageless Thrival the way it's been delivered. That's all part so that you can not only raise your vibration to its highest level while maintaining your body for as long as you choose. It's also why it's about focused positive intention, because that's essential for you to be able to access in a beingness your trilliums for sustenance. It's why it's recognizing when you have negative thoughts, words, actions, and deeds, keeping track of that focusing on when they come up so that you can cancel them as soon as you recognize them and replace them with the positive, coherent emotions, releasing those negatives to be released to the Creator's light with love, leaving you in that positive, coherent emotional state. So you're able to recall the positive emotional coherence through yourselves instantly as you choose, because that is what allows you to optimally access your trilliums. It's also important why daily gratitude is critical, not only for creating miracles from the tiniest to the most humongous, but so that you can easily access those coherent emotions on demand in a beingness state rather than doing. It is in the beingness where your trilliums activate optimally, and you're able to, they're able to call to themselves the subtle positive energies throughout the omniverse. It's also why being able to transform those incoherent negative emotions like anger, frustration, and patience into the coherent positive emotions of joy, appreciation, and gratitude will allow you to continue to thrive through your trilliums sustenance ability to draw those subtle energies, that sustenance from outer worldly things, as our environment changes and as we come closer to the sixth mass extinction until Mother Earth pulls us back. So in fact, that you are going to be able to live as long as you choose in a vital, vibrant body and enjoy the omniverse no matter what's happening to the environment on our planet. So let's begin the messages from the Hathors through Tom Kenyon, and then we'll follow up with the clearings and the positive teachings. So the Hathor planetary message about trilliums is channeled through Tom Kenyon. Tom is always happy to share his written material freely as long as his copyright is protected, and that's what we're doing by sourcing Tom and Tom's site. The Trillium Sound Meditation and the Multiverse Sound Meditation and other recordings are the sole use for Tom. He doesn't mind personal use, and those can be found at tomkenyon.com/listening. So TOMKENYON.com/listening. You'll sign an agreement for use, and then you can go in and take part in the sound meditation. And once we've done all of our clearings and teachings, the Trillium Sound Meditation is going to help you activate your trilliums into action. So the Hathors say that they are a group of interdimensional, intergalactic beings who are connected to ancient Egypt through the temples of the goddess Hathor. And if any of you are doing any of the work in the Sophia Code book or listening to our downloads or the audio book by Kaya Ra, Hathor is the second key code that the Sophia Code works with. So, as we said, through the temples of the goddess Hathor, as well as several other prehistory cultures, this is how the Hathors have introduced themselves to Tom in the mid-1980s. We are the Hathors. We come in love and with the sounding of a new dream reality for your earth. If you are ready to build the new world, we invite you to join us on a journey of the mind and heart. We are your elder brothers and sisters. We have been with you for a very long period of your evolution on this planet. We were with you in the eons past, even in the forgotten days before any trace of us is known in your present written history. Our own nature is energetic and interdimensional. We originally came from another universe by the way of Sirius, which is a portal to your universe. And from Sirius, we eventually proceeded to your solar system and the etheric realms of Venus. In the past, we have specifically worked with and through the Hathor fertility goddess of ancient Egypt. We also made contact with Tibetan lamas in the formative period of Tibetan Buddhism. Although we have interacted with some of Earth's early cultures, we are an intergalactic civilization with outposts that span parts of your known universe and beyond. We are what you might term an ascended civilization, a group of beings existing at a specific vibratory field, even as you have an energy signature. It is simply that we vibrate at a faster rate than you. Nonetheless, we are all part of the mystery, part of the love that holds and binds all the universe together. We have grown as you have grown, ascending to the one source of all that is. We have grown in joy and through sorrow, as have you. We are, in terms of the vastness, a little higher on the spiral of awareness and consciousness than you are. Therefore, we can offer you what we have learned as friends, mentors, and fellow travelers on the path that leads back to remembrance of all that is. We are not saviors. We are not messianic. In other words, they're not of the Jesus type. We want to clearly step out of that projection so that the reader understands that we are simply elder brothers and sisters offering our understanding and what we've learned. You may take it or leave it, but we offer it freely. In our understanding, the belief that different alien intelligence are going to save you is just a projection of human unconsciousness. The hope that someone or something will save you, that you will not have to make any changes in yourself, that you will not have to be responsible, is unrealistic. The belief that you can stay in a pattern of lethargy and unconsciousness, then take something or have something given to you that will transform you without any effort on your part is sheer folly. It won't happen. Now, there may be alien intelligences that land, for they certainly exist, but those humans who count on others to bring in their ascension and elevation without any work on their part are going to be very disappointed. Ascension is a process of self-awareness and mastery on all levels, and it necessitates bringing all those levels of one's existence upward. That is how we see it, and that is how we have done it for millennia. By offering our aid, however, we do not wish to interfere with your other spiritual helpers and cosmic relationships in any way, nor with any religious beliefs, affiliations, or organizations have helped you, even though there is a great deal we would like to share. So we're going to move on to the trilliums. So in this planetary message, this was the one that I received October the 18th. In this message, as we said, we wish to share with you a simple but highly effective method for accessing the quantum potentials of your body. This technique allows you to draw upon life-enhancing subtle energies from other dimensions of consciousness. Trilliums are quantum field effects that are created whenever two subatomic particles join together. As atoms begin to form from the bonding of subatomic particles, these quantum field effects are amplified. As atoms then join to create complex molecules, the quantum field effects become much more intricate and intensified. From this perspective, your physical body is an intricately choreographed generator of interlocking and interacting quantum field effects that arise spontaneously from the cells of your body. These cellular quantum field effects tend to evolve into exquisitely coordinated quantum attractors that draw into the cells of your body subtle energies from your environment. This process unfolds whether you are aware of it or not. It is an automatic and reflexive action of this cellular matrix you refer to as your body. There are several oddities about trilliums. One of these is a conundrum as to their nature. They operate independently of your own conscious awareness, yet they are deeply affected by your deepest core beliefs about the nature of reality. In other words, trilliums are programmed at the quantum level by the unfathomable and enigmatic interface between consciousness and matter. Two individuals living in the same environment can draw to themselves vastly different subtle energies based on their core beliefs. And this also includes not just your core beliefs, this is on your ancestry level, that would be your genetic level, and your soul level, and things coming in on the core level, because they all imprint on you. These differences could then significantly affect both their perceptions of reality and what they deem to be possible, as well as what they might actually be able to accomplish within these perceived realities. While trilliums unquestionably operate automatically based on what they've been programmed to attract, they are also quite easily affected by your focused intent. In other words, you can affect what subtle energies are drawn to you through the use of your own powers of conscious, focused intention. The value of working with trilliums is that you can draw to yourself restorative and balancing energies from other levels of the cosmos. This means you are not confined to drawing sustenance and uplifting energies solely from the physical dimension that your physical body happens to reside in. The ability of trilliums to attract sustenance and beneficial subtle energies from other dimensions beyond the physical planet is precisely why we are sharing this information with you at this time. In previous planetary messages, we the Hathors have addressed various ecological issues facing your planet. In the previous messages, we've given some predictions regarding trends within your Earth's ecosystem, specifically what ecological scientists refer to as the sixth mass extinction. When we speak about the sixth mass extinction, we are referencing the fact that large numbers of plant and animal species have disappeared from this planet during 5 previous distinct epochs. From our perspective, and from the perspective of many ecological scientists, you are clearly entering the sixth mass extinction. Having said this, let us clarify that while the sixth mass extinction is a probability in your timeline, it is not a certainty, as the course of all events can be altered at the last moment. If, however, humanity does not change its relationship to nature and Earth's ecosystem, the sixth mass extinction will proceed unabated. The sixth mass extinction does not mean that all of humanity will be destroyed, but it does mean that a vast majority of humankind will be affected. Our sense is that the next 25 years will usher in a rapid and radical transformation of our planet and therefore your collective consciousness. The intensity of storms across the globe will increase, making them more and more destructive. Ocean levels will rise more rapidly than anticipated, and those living in low-lying coastal areas may find themselves having to migrate inland sooner than predicted. All of these ecological changes are creating immense survival stresses in wildlife and in all botanical life forms such as trees and diatoms, tiny microorganisms in your world's oceans. Together with trees, diatoms, and other phytoplankton organisms are responsible for creating much of the Earth's usable oxygen. The vast tree reserves of Earth are threatened by overforestation, and both trees and phytoplankton organisms are being negatively affected by both climate change and an increase in worldwide toxicity that is being generated by your modern technologies. The oceans are becoming over-acidified, and this is wreaking havoc on both oceanic and land-based life forms. If the sixth mass extinction continues unaltered, then the majority of humanity will become a part of Earth's history. Those pockets of humanity that manage to survive will be a different order of being. They will be stewards of nature, stewards of the planet, rather than dominators. And a collective understanding of a need for cooperation will be etched in everyone's consciousness. The divisions between people in terms of culture and religion will be far less important than they are now. This will be due to the fact that in order to survive, humans will have to put their differences aside and find new common ground. This new order of human being will also be more permeable and open to other dimensions of consciousness. Welcome to the new human. I'm part of Ageless Thrival. That's me talking, not the half-horse. This means that future humans will have direct conscious contact with other beings who are galactic and intergalactic in nature, i.e. the aliens, as well as non-corporeal intelligence such as angels and other energy beings. By the end of the next century, quarter century, that's 25 years, a growing percentage of humanity will undertake galactic exploration, and humanity will also become a space-faring civilization. It will be an odd time to be alive for sure, as some human beings attempt to escape Earth's dire ecological changes. And at the same time, there will be others who remain committed to living earthbound lives, and this new order of human will find new creative ways to both survive and thrive. Thrival. That's how my reality that I see. These novel ways of interacting with a changing Earth will include whole new classes of foods and medicines that have not yet been created. And returning to our focus to the next 25 years, there will be inevitable food shortages as well as shortages of water throughout parts of the world due to the changes in climate. Due to stresses in all biological systems and as a result of the deterioration in both water and air quality, your sources of food, hydration, and oxygenation will be steadily depleted of vitality. In other words, it will be increasingly difficult to extract nutrients and sustenance from the Earth's environment that humanity has relied upon for thousands of years. And why we're talking about trilliums. Trilliums as a source of otherworldly sustenance. Trilliums are a means for you to tap into sources of sustenance that reside in other dimensions of existence outside Earth's current reality. And they are a means to bring into the cells of your body a type of nourishment and benevolent energies that can strengthen you. Interestingly, this type of subtle energy can take many forms, including manna, an edible food source discussed in both the Old Testament and the Quran that is otherworldly origins. Mastery of your trilliums is a very good skill set to have as you enter more deeply into the chaotic nature of planetary transformation that lies before you. The most difficult thing about trilliums is their simplicity. You do not do anything to activate them, as they are active 24 hours a day. All you need to do is qualify the energies you draw to yourself. And this is accomplished by simply through holding a focused intention. If, for instance, you need more vitality or perhaps restorative healing energies, you enter a relaxed state of mind and become aware of your entire body with the understanding that every cell is a quantum attractor. As soon as you engage your chosen intention, the trilliums within your body will begin to draw themselves energies from other dimensions of the cosmos. And when your mind wanders, you simply bring it back to an awareness of your body and your chosen intention, with the understanding that this is a simple act of focused intention which will engage your trilliums. And this is also why meditation and learning to meditate with a focused intention, a positive intention, is going to help you to be able to instantly bring yourself into that focused, positive, coherent state. We encourage you to experiment with drawing to yourself many different types of positive, life-enhancing, subtle energies you wish to experience in the cellular matrix that is your body. The types of qualified energies you can draw to yourself through your trillions are virtually endless. You'll be much more effective in accessing the potentials of trilliums if you entered an altered state of consciousness, since this ability is outside the domain of normal human perception. We have created the Trillium Sound Meditation to assist you in the task of shifting your perceptual reality And a link to this audio file appears at the end of the message. And it's called the Trillium Sound Meditation. And as I told you, you go to tomkenyon.com listening, you can sign the agreement and access the meditation. So to gauge the potentials of the Trillium Sound Meditation, all you have to do is rest your awareness in your body as you listen to and relax into the sound codes of the sound meditation. Then focus on your chosen intention with the knowledge that by doing so, you activate the trilliums within you. By their very nature, your trilliums will begin to draw into your body subtle energies from other dimensions of consciousness according to the nature of your focused intention. Activation of your trilliums will be much more effective and powerful if you also enter a coherent, positive emotional state, such as appreciation or gratitude, as you engage the sound meditation. Rather than explain why this is so, we would refer you to a previous Hathor message entitled The Multiverse Sound Meditation, which you can find in the Hathor section of tomkenyon.com/listening. We wish you great success in your explorations with the trilliums. It is, we believe, the greatest gift we can give you at this time. May this knowledge be a blessing to you and your loved ones, as well as a benefit to all sentient beings, as all of you collectively cross the threshold into greater planetary uncertainty. And this is the next message. This was about a month earlier on September 21st. And these are Tom Kenyon's thoughts and observations from this message of September 21st. And I read it as follows, as it's Tom's copyright. Since the Hathors began their communication reference a previous message entitled Spatial Cognizance, I want to bring my comments with the very first sentence. Your world is in the midst of an immense metamorphosis. I personally find the word metamorphosis to be particularly appropriate as the term is used to denote transformation or to change shape. A cursory historical glance at life on Earth will clearly reveal that we're in the midst of a radical transformation. And the shape of life, meaning how we live life, is unquestionably changing. Part of this change is that a world culture, we are becoming psychologically more and more disconnected from nature. The effects of this disconnect from our natural origins are contributing to a collective disregard for nature with ominous consequences for all biological life, ours included, unless we radically change our social attitudes and behaviors in relationship to nature. I'm not going to discuss the Hathor's predictions regarding Earth's near future, as their comments are self-explanatory and to the point. In regard to their predictions, I'm reminded of a comment that has been tossed about in the self-improvement subculture for some time now. The truth will set you free, but first it might piss you off. I think there is a lot of truth in that statement when it comes to recognizing any pattern, whether it be a personal psychological tendency, a social norm, or a current quagmire in relation to Earth's rapidly changing ecosystem. The Hathors were clear with me from the very start of their communications back in the late 1980s that the events or external situations in life are not as important in terms of spiritual evolution as the internal choices that we make. Their position is that choices we make in relation to life's various challenges will shape the deeper levels of our consciousness, and these internal attributes will determine where we wind up in subsequent incarnations. In other words, our choice making in relation to our current life will directly affect the quality of our experience, as well as the opportunities afforded us in other lifetimes, regardless of whether they are experienced somewhere in the worlds of matter or in the realms of light. Thus, from this perspective, our modern life with its attendant uncertainty and chaos offers us an unprecedented opportunity to move upward in its consciousness at a very rapid rate. If we but choose to make those choices that reinforce the upward thrust of our consciousness. With that focus in mind, I'd like to point out a few things regarding the Hathor's introduction of trilliums. First of all, there is a genus of perennial flowering plant called Trillium, but this bears no direct relationship to the Hathor's term other than the fact that these plants have quantum attractors, as do all biological organisms. There are some salient points to consider when undertaking this work. The Hathor strongly suggests that you enter into a coherent emotion when you engage your trilliums. Since receiving the trillium information in preparation for the last Hathor event, I've worked with trilliums in many different ways and in various situations, and I can say from personal experience that my trilliums are greatly enhanced when I'm in a coherent emotion. Most of us live in various emotional niches based on what we're experiencing in the moment. If you happen to be experiencing yourself in the world from a standpoint of an incoherent emotion, such as fear, hostility, sadness, or the many other forms of emotional incoherency we humans seem subject to, you may find it difficult to engage your trilliums properly, and as a result, you will be unable to draw to yourself restorative energies from the cosmos as intended. That's why it's so important to have that focused intent, recognize the negative emotions, cancel them immediately, and pull in the positive, whatever the positive is, to counteract it, so that that just becomes your everyday nature of pulling yourself back into that positive, coherent emotion. So the first step when engaging trilliums is to honestly assess yourself to determine where you are emotionally. This self-assessment is, by the way, based on pragmatism and has nothing to do with self-criticism. By our natures, most of us are subject to all types of incoherent emotions, and the rapid changes in our world certainly contribute to increased incoherency in many cases. Our task is to recognize what state we are in, and if it is incoherent, a negative one, we have to find a way to move into a coherent state. The Hathors addressed how to do this in a previous message called the Multiverse Sound Meditation, and in that communication, a method for moving into coherent emotional states was discussed. You can also find that method described in more detail by going to the articles section and going through the appreciation and gratitude, a basic primer, which we'll go through very briefly. The second and last point I wish to make in regard to trilliums is that drawing in restorative energies to yourself using this method is essentially a passive state. You don't do anything to activate your trilliums, since they're always drawing energies to themselves and into the cells of your body from your environment. To be effective in this work, all you do is hold the thought form intention of what energies you wish to draw into your body. This is not done through concentration, which would be counterproductive at best. The reason for this is that the concentration creates a type of mental tension, and trilliums are best activated when the mind is at ease and simply holds an intention gently in place. Ironically, the simplicity of engaging trilliums is probably the most difficult part of this, because most of us are used to working hard to make something happen. But when it comes to subtle energies like trilliums, the less effort you use, the better the outcome. An excerpt from the Trillium Sound Meditation that was first introduced last May 2018. This sound field is very helpful when working with trilliums and is made available free of charge for your personal use. You can find a link at the end of the comment section, which again, as I said to you, you're going to tomkenyon.com/listening. This sound piece is 5 minutes and 53 minutes in length, and having worked with this shortened version, I can say that it's more than enough time to activate trilliums per the Hathor's instructions. And for those of you who wish to stay in the receptivity of your trilliums, you can always hit repeat to extend your listening time. So let's just briefly go through what the Hathors and Tom talk about as a basic primer. We're going to clear anything on the appreciation or gratitude in the downloads here, but we're going to go through their process. So Tom wrote this to address a conundrum that arose in the Hathor message entitled The Multiverse Sound Meditation on Appreciation and Gratitude. In the message, they said it was vital to first enter a state of coherent emotions such as appreciation or gratitude before exploring alternate realities. The reason for this is to ensure that we enter the higher realms of consciousness that open to us when we're in a state of high coherency. While many of you reading this probably know how to enter appreciation or gratitude at will, some of you may not. Tom's primer is for those of us who, for whatever reasons, find ourselves unable to enter these coherent states. By the end of this exploration into coherent emotions, I trust that you will be able to enter into these restorative states whenever you wish. I will talk a bit about coherent emotions in a moment, but before we go any further, let me say right up front, this is Tom speaking, what this article is not about. The goal of this endeavor is not to live in a state of appreciation or gratitude 100% of the time. There will, for most of us, be times when we are rattled by incoherent emotions such as sadness, frustration, jealousy, fear, anger. Rather, the goal is to recognize when we've stumbled into an incoherent emotional state and know how to extricate ourselves at will, or how to enter coherency before psycho-navigating alternative realities. Furthermore, I consider it to be fruitful and even a vital psycho-spiritual necessity to deal with the roots of our incoherent states. In other words, our unresolved unconscious material. That means those blocked unconscious programs that are bringing negative experiences in your life so that you can release them and bring in the positive teachings. And so what he says is again, in dealing with the roots of our incoherent states, rather than skip over them for the sake of seeming to be spiritual. I call that the posing, instead of getting real and doing your work. So doing the change inside, that's the important thing here, is being the change to see the change outwardly and be able to just pull yourself into that state of beingness. Various studies, including those conducted by the HeartMath Institute, show conclusively that when we are in a coherent state, such as appreciation, our cognitive abilities and problem-solving skills actually improve. On the other hand, incoherent emotions such as frustration can have a detrimental effect on our cognitive function as well as our sense of well-being. Incoherent emotions create physiological distress in your body-mind complex, while other coherent emotions generate feelings of well-being and general improvement in how your body and mind complex responds to situations around you. Thus, at your psychological and physiological levels, the ability to generate coherent positive emotions at will is a very good skill set to have. The Hathors, however, promulgate the notion that the cultivation of coherent emotions goes far beyond your body and mind complex. They say that coherent emotions are crucial when exploring alternative realities such as the multiverse. The multiverse is a large concept. It includes not only your own universe, but other universes, which the Hathors contend are innumerable in number. This idea of multiple universes is not unique to the Hathors, but is shared by numerous yogic traditions that trace their origins back thousands of years. According to the Hathors, the multiverse is permeated by highly evolved and benevolent intelligences that freely emanate blessings of elevated perception and healing to all those who reside in coherent emotional states. The key here is that we have to be in an emotionally positive, coherent state to receive the benefit emanations of these beings. These energetic beings, by the way, come from many diverse spiritual traditions, many of which we have no names for here on Earth. Exploring the multiverse in a state of high coherency is one of the necessities required for you to derive the greatest benefit possible. And so without any further ado, let's explore the practical steps involved in entering emotional coherency. Let's define our terms. Appreciation is the recognition of quality, value, or significance of a situation, person, or thing. Gratitude, on the other hand, is the state of being or in a state of deep thankfulness. While these two coherent states are most definitely related, there is a difference in their intensity. I discussed this talk about the differences between cats and dogs during a sound healing training a few years ago. You can listen to this short talk by clicking on the link below. That's on the site, on the listening site as well, which will clarify the differences between these two states of coherent emotions. While we're on the topic of emotions and animals, you might also find it helpful and amusing to listen to a talk I gave about a dog named Merlin, who happened to be my co-therapist for several years. And again, you can click on to tomkenyon.com/listening to listen to these talks. They're excellent. So the basic primer from Tom and the Hathors goes like this. Number one, for those of you who are already familiar with appreciation and gratitude in your life, all you have to do is recall the feeling. When you recall one of these emotional states, your body-mind complex immediately creates the effect. Suddenly, you're in the actual state of appreciation or gratitude just by having remembered the feeling. For those of you who are less familiar with these coherent emotional states, I would suggest adding a step. Think of something you appreciate. It does not matter how big or small the appreciation is, just so long as it's something or someone you appreciate. This could be as simple as appreciating a cold drink on a hot day, a beautiful piece of music, a dazzling sunset, or the kindness of a friend or stranger. The list of possible things to be appreciative is truly endless. The idea is to pick something that engenders the feeling of appreciation in you, and once you have the feeling, let the memory of what created the feeling drop away so that you are left with just the feeling of appreciation itself. As you continue to work with this simple method, eventually you'll be able to enter into the coherent state of appreciation or even gratitude in a moment's notice through the simple act of choosing to be in that state. While it may seem implausible to some of you reading this, there are people who honestly experience impoverishment around the idea of appreciation or gratitude. For these people, their personal history has been so traumatized or diminished, they cannot, with authenticity, identify a single thing in their lives that they feel appreciation or gratitude for. And that is where the importance of recognizing that and being able to clear any of the unconscious programs that are having to store and hold into any type of negativity. So you can clear it on the core, the ancestral, the soul, and then resolve it on the history level. So that clears up so that you can actually then have the downloads of the positive feelings of appreciation and be able to bring that feeling and that beingness into your light, not only your light, your life. If you're one of these individuals, there's still a way for you to enter the healing powers of coherent emotion. You need to transcend your personal history and rely on your brain's innate plasticity to create new neural networks using the sheer power of imagination or creative fantasy. With this method, you'll be able to create authentic, coherent emotions, which will, by their nature, create magnetic attractors that will eventually attract you to your actual situations in your outer reality that will give you the reason to feel appreciation or gratitude. The first step in this process is to generate appreciation, is to imagine something that would feel like appreciation if you were to experience it in reality. Imagine that you're actually experiencing what it is you would appreciate. Create a fantasy in which you see, hear, and feel that which you wish to appreciate, and bring all your senses into play. Make it as real as you can, and then your brain mind will then begin to create both experiential and physiological responses of appreciation. After you experience the feeling of appreciation, let the object of your appreciation drop away so that you're feeling the emotion of appreciation on its own. Experiment with this self-created sense of appreciation multiple times. As you repeat the experience, your brain mind will create new neurological networks that will allow you to recall the feeling of appreciation. So that being said, that's another way to do it. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go into the Ascend protocols, where we actually go in and facilitate. I am going to facilitate you with your free will saying yes to go and clear any unconscious programs based on some of the aspects on trilliums here. You'll say yes, and we'll clear on the core, the ancestor, the soul level, resolve on the history level, and then do the positive downloads so that you can clear anything that will prevent you from being able to instantly be in the beingness of the feeling of the coherent emotion that allows your optimal usage and activation for your trilliums. So are we ready to go, Mary?
I'm ready.
Okay. So the very first one is that we're going to release all the vows, all the contracts, all the ancestral obligations, rules, pledges, oaths, promises, agreements, commitments, allegiance, alliances, rituals, negative blessings, pacts, secret PRO, secondary gains, tree root curses, seedlings, saplings, past, present, future, curses, sign curses, spells, hexes, negative programs, negative unconscious beliefs. Anything in all ways and all levels that would obligate you to be afraid of the Hathors and the Hathor star nations and peoples in bringing their love and their learning to share with you. We're going to release that, and we're going to resolve it on the history level, yes?
Yes.
We're going to go in and teach you in the ancestors that all the lessons are completed from any lifetime that you've lived where you were afraid of other intergalactic civilizations. You misunderstood them, misunderstood their relationship as brothers and sisters and helpers to you, whatever that misunderstanding was. We're going to go in and teach you in the ancestors that all those lessons are completed without calling any experience in to prove they've been completed. Yes?
Yes.
Let's go in and teach you and the ancestors, creators' definition and perspective of Hathors, of the Hathor Star Nation, the Hathor peoples, and that you live your day-to-day life recognizing and embracing and understanding and sharing your beingness with your brothers and sisters of the Hathor Star Nation, star people, and that yours and the ancestors' definition and perspective is the same. Yes?
Yes.
That you live your day-to-day life understanding and recognizing the Hathors without ever being afraid of them, that you recognize their positive beings here to share their experiences and help us evolve and raise our consciousness for all of the omniverse. And so it is. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, let's go in and teach us and the ancestors all the knowledge, all the understanding, what it feels like to know how to, when to, it's possible to, safe to, we allow ourselves to, and we do not live our day-to-day lives recognizing, embracing, and understanding the Hathors, the Hathor Star Nations peoples as our brothers and sisters, that they are here to share their positive experiences with us to help us raise our vibrations, become stewards, and reconnected to our earth so that we can pull back the sixth mass extinction upon us that could in fact destroy humanity, without fear of them, without being afraid of them, and that we recognize them as family. And so it is. Yes?
Yes.
Let's go in and release all the negative energetic ties, negative anchors, negative programs, negative unconscious beliefs, tree root curses, seedlings, saplings, past, present, future, curses, hidden curses, spells, hexes, negative programs, negative unconscious beliefs. Anything in all ways and all levels that would prevent us from recognizing and understanding the ease and grace of our internal trillium mechanisms, and how they are here as quantum field effects to create sustenance for our use for multidimensional and multi-universal drawings. Let's just release anything that's preventing that and resolve it on the history level. Yes?
Yes.
Let's go in and teach us and the ancestors, creators' definition and perspective of trilliums as channeled by the Hathors, that we live our day-to-day lives being able to be in our beingness of positive, coherent emotions so that we easily allow our trilliums to draw the sustenance for our use from the multi-dimensions and multi-universes as we need to over time in our highest and best way, optimally utilizing our trilliums in our highest and best way, and that ours and the ancestors' definition and perspective is the same. Yes?
Yes.
Let's go in and teach us the difference between trilliums, the flower, and trilliums, the quantum field effects that are created whenever two subatomic particles join. This teaches the difference. Yes?
Yes.
And that we have creators' definition and perspective of trilliums as quantum field effects that are created whenever two subatomic particles join. Yes?
Yes.
And that let's go in and teach us and the ancestors all the knowledge, all the understanding, what it feels like to know how to, when to, it's possible to, safe to, we allow ourselves to. And we do now live our day-to-day lives with our trilliums activated, that our trilliums easily draw sustenance for our use in our beingness for multidimensional and multi-universal energies, and that our trilliums are a source of otherworldly sustenance that we utilize as we need to, as we go through time in our highest and best way with grace and ease. Yes?
Yes.
Let's go in and release all the negative energetic ties, negative anchors, negative programs, negative unconscious beliefs, tree root curses, seedlings, saplings, past, present, future, secret payoff, secondary gains, tree root curses, seedlings, saplings. So release anything on all levels that would prevent us from being able to qualify the coherent emotional energies for mastering your trilliums and the ancestors' trilliums through focused intentions. Let's release that and resolve it on a history level. Yes?
Yes.
Let's go in and teach us and the ancestors all of the lessons are completed from any lifetime that we lived where we were unable to recognize and qualify the coherent emotional energies required for mastering our trilliums through focused intentions in a beingness that somehow we thought we had to do rather than just be and allow the optimal energies to be brought in through our trilliums for our sustenance from other worldly sources. Let's go in and teach us and the ancestors that all the lessons are completed without calling any experience in to prove that they've been completed. Yes?
Yes.
Let's go in and teach us and the ancestors creators definition and perspective of a coherent emotional energy, that we live our day-to-day lives always being able to recognize the appropriate coherent emotional energies, that we live our day-to-day lives qualifying the coherent emotional energies that allow us to master our trilliums through focused intentions, always assuring that their activation, although always on, is optimal, drawing to us the optimal sustenance from outer worldly sources in our beingness, and so it is. Yes?
Yes.
And ours and the ancestors' definition and perspective is the same. Yes?
Yes.
Let's go in and teach us and the ancestors all the knowledge, all the understanding, what it feels like to know how to, when to, it's possible to, safe to, we allow ourselves to, and we do now live our day-to-day lives. Being able to qualify, and we do qualify the coherent emotional energies required to master the beingness for our trilliums through focused intentions, always being able to draw the optimal sustenant energies from outer worldly sources as required as we need to, moving through time and space for eternity, and so it is. Yes?
Yes.
Let's go in and release anything in all levels and all ways, past, present, future, secret payoff, secondary gains, tree root curses, seedlings, saplings, anything that would prevent us from being able to instantly create the relaxed state of mind to understand that every cell is a quantum attractor of our restorative healing energies through the trilliums. Let's release that and resolve it on the history level. Yes?
Yes.
Let's go in and teach us and the ancestors that all the lessons are completed from any lifetime that we lived where we weren't able to instantly put our mind into a relaxed state so that we could utilize our trilliums so that they are the quantum attractor of restorative healing energies from outer worldly sources. Let's go in and teach us and the ancestors those lessons are completed without calling any experience in to prove they've been completed. Yes?
Yes.
Let's go in and teach us and the ancestors creators definition perspective of a relaxed state of mind, the optimal relaxed state of mind, allowing us to have our trilliums be the quantum attractor in every cell, being able to draw to it the optimal restorative healing energies in every moment of every day as required throughout time and space, and so it is. Yes?
Yes.
And then ours and the ancestors' definition and perspective is the same. Yes?
Yes.
Let's go in and teach us and the ancestors all the knowledge, all the understanding, what it feels like to know how to, when to, it's possible to, safe to, we allow ourselves to, and we do not live our day-to-day lives. Being able to create on demand as we need to, just put ourselves into that relaxed state of mind, understanding that every cell is a quantum attractor of restorative healing energies through our trilliums in our highest and best way with grace and ease. Yes?
Yes.
Let's go in and release anything in all levels and all ways, past, present, future, secret payoff, secondary gains, true root curses, seedling, sapling, anything that would prevent us from recognizing when we are in an incoherent state of negative energies, fear, hostility, sadness, anger, violence, any of the thoughts, words, actions, and deeds that would obligate us to be unable to recognize it and release it and switch it into the positive coherent energies. We're going to release that and resolve it on the history level. Yes?
Yes.
We're going to go in and teach us that all the lessons are completed us and the ancestors when we were unable to recognize incoherent emotions, unable to cancel them and transform them into the positive teachings and virtues to assure that our trilliums were able to optimally draw to them the healing, restorative sustenance from outer worldly sources. We're going to go in and teach us and the ancestors that all those lessons are completed. Yes?
Yes.
We're going to go in and teach us and the ancestors all the relevant teachings, the knowledge, the understanding, what it feels like to know how to, when to, it's possible to, safe to, we allow ourselves to, and we do not live our day-to-day lives, easily recognizing the incoherent emotions, the negative thoughts, words, actions, and deeds, fear, the hostility, sadness, anger, hatred, violence, any and all negative, incoherent emotions, and that we recognize them, and as soon as we do, that we cancel them, and we then immediately change them, transform them into positive teachings and positive virtues, bringing us from an incoherent state and transforming us into a coherent emotional state, allowing us to be in our beingness and our trilliums to attract the positive, optimal, restorative energies and sustenance we require. And so it is. Yes?
Yes.
Let's go in and release anything in all levels and all ways, past, present, future, secret payoff, secondary gains, tree curses, seedlings, saplings, anything that would prevent us from recognizing when we're in a coherent state of love, joy, happiness, bliss, peace, appreciation, and gratitude. Anything that's preventing that, we're going to release and resolve on the history level. Yes?
Yes.
We're going to go in and teach us and the ancestors that all the lessons are completed from any lifetime that we've lived, where we were unable to recognize when we were in a coherent emotional state of positivity, and teach us that all those lessons are completed without calling any experience in to prove they've been completed. Yes?
Yes.
We're going to go in and teach us and the ancestors all the knowledge, all the understanding, what it feels like to know how to, when to, it's possible to, safe to, we allow ourselves to, and we do not live our day-to-day lives with the Creator's definition and perspective of love, of joy, of happiness, of bliss, of peace, of appreciation and gratitude, and that we live our day-to-day lives recognizing all of those feelings and all of the other positive feelings and emotions and virtues that show us and have us feel we're in a coherent emotional state, which allows our trilliums to optimally draw to them the healing, restorative, sustenance energies we require as we move forward, as our consciousness raises, as there are changes on the earth plane that allow us and require us to have this additional sustenance as we move forward. And so it is. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Let's go in and release anything in all levels and all ways that would prevent us from understanding that our trilliums are optimally activated when our mind is at ease. Anything that's preventing us from being able to instantly recognize when we need to put our mind at ease, and that we can transform into that effortless putting our mind at ease. We're going to release and resolve on the history level. Yes?
Yes.
We're going to go in and we're going to teach us and the ancestors that all the lessons are completed from any lifetime that we lived, where we were unable to recognize when our minds were tense and we were unable to put them at ease. We lack those strategies. We're going to go in and teach us and the ancestors that all of those lessons are completed without calling any experience in to prove they've been completed. Yes?
Yes.
We're going to go in and teach us and the ancestors all the knowledge, all the understanding, what it feels like to know how to, when to, it's possible to, safe to, we allow ourselves to, and we do not live our day-to-day lives. Creating, implementing, and maintaining the optimal strategies, the optimal coherent emotional trillium strategies to assure that we transform any incoherent emotional state that we could be in into a coherent emotional state with grace and ease, and that we're easily and effortlessly are able to transform through these strategies, putting our mind, if it's tense or feeling troubled, that we utilize, and we do utilize these strategies to put our mind at ease, so our trilliums are always able to optimally activate. And so it is. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to go in and release anything on all levels and all ways that would prevent us from having our trilliums in our beingness allow us to draw any life-enhancing subtle energies from other dimensions of consciousness. We're going to go in and release that and resolve it on the history level, yes?
Yes.
We're going to go in and teach us and the ancestors that all the lessons are completed from any lifetime that we lived, where we were unable to draw in life-enhancing subtle energies from other dimensions or consciousness for whatever reasons. Our trilliums were always in this state of just off balance. We're going to go and teach us that those lessons are completed without calling any experience in to prove they've been completed. Yes?
Yes.
We're going to go in and teach us and the ancestors, creators' definition and perspective over trilliums, that we live our day-to-day lives, being able to instantly come into our beingness of a coherent, positive emotional state, allowing us to draw upon life-enhancing subtle energies from other dimensions in consciousness. And we do now, and ours and the ancestors' definition and perspective is the same, yes?
Yes.
Let's go in and teach us and the ancestors all the knowledge, all the understanding, what it feels like to know how to, when to, it's possible to, safe to, we allow ourselves to, and we do not live our day-to-day lives. Being able to come into our beingness instantly as we are required to, allowing our trilliums to optimally attract and allow us to draw life-enhancing subtle energies from other dimensions of consciousness in our highest and best way in every moment of every day. And so it is. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Let's go in and release anything on all levels and all ways, past, present, future, secret payoff, secondary gains, tree root curses, seedlings, saplings, anything that would prevent us from having creator's definition and perspective of appreciation and gratitude. We're going to release that, yes?
Yes.
Anything that would prevent us from being at peace with our emotions, we're going to release that and resolve it on the history level, yes?
Yes.
Anything that would prevent us from having our emotions as peaceful and our emotions as coherent, yes?
Yes.
We're going to release anything in all levels and all ways, past, present, future, that would prevent us from having our body, mind, and soul in synchronized bliss, yes?
Yes.
That our body, mind, and soul in synchronized serenity, yes?
Yes.
Anything that's preventing us from living our day-to-day life in joy and bliss and coherent emotion, in peace and balance and serenity. We're going to release all that and resolve it on the history level, yes?
Yes.
We're going to go in and teach us in the ancestors, creators' definition and perspective of appreciation and gratitude, and that we live our day-to-day lives with being at peace with our emotions, yes?
Yes.
That we live our day-to-day lives with our emotions as peaceful and our emotions as coherent, yes?
Yes.
That we live our day-to-day lives with our body, mind, and soul synchronized in bliss and in serenity, yes?
Yes.
That we live our day-to-day lives choosing joy, choosing bliss, choosing coherent emotion, choosing peace, balance, and serenity in every aspect of our life, and ours and the ancestors' definition and perspective is the same, yes?
Yes.
So we're going to go in and teach us and the ancestors all the knowledge, all the understanding, what it feels like to know how to, when to, it's possible to, safe to, we allow ourselves to. And we do not live our day-to-day lives being at peace with our emotions, that our emotions are peaceful, our emotions are coherent, that our body, mind, and soul are synchronized in bliss and serenity, that we choose joy and bliss and coherent emotion with peace, balance, and serenity, allowing our trilliums to, through the beingness of our calmness and our peacefulness in those coherent positive energies, allow us to, and we do draw upon the life-enhancing subtle energies and sustenance from other dimensions of consciousness, the otherworldly components, multiverses, multidimensions, as we choose to, as we need to, as we move forward in our highest and best way as the new humans, and so it is. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so let's integrate us. Let's teach us who we are with our new beliefs, that we live our day-to-day lives easily, effortlessly, comfortably, in our highest and best way, taking the appropriate, joyful actions, thoughts, words, and deeds, using the integrated positive virtues in our highest and best way, and so it is. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to re-stress again, as we have done through Ageless Thrival and all the different sessions of it, that you, if you don't already, that you get a copy of Rhonda Byrne's The Magic, and begin that 28-day ritual of gratitude, so that you form that habit of daily gratitude, so then you just are instantly in that when you need to be. No matter what's happening in your life, you've got that feeling of gratitude that you can pull in and your trilliums will be optimally drawing the sustenance that's required. And again, after having done this, you'll want to go and activate through the Hathor sound meditations. And so I want you to go to Tom's Kenyon site at tomkenyon.com/listening. And if you want to bring yourself further into ageless, if you haven't already done the courses, you can register for the Trinity, which is ageless 1, 2, and 3 for $210 at thegaincenter.com. And so I just want to remind you all that our golden age of miracles, heaven on earth, is created by you making the positive changes within you so that you can experience them in the outside world for all, because we are one. And I want to thank you very much for your time, that I'm always grateful for your commitment to raising your inner consciousness so that we are raising the collective consciousness and we truly anchor heaven on earth for all beings. Thank you very much, and I love you. Good night.
Done?